On Christmas Eve, on her last day as a nanny, the millionaire's deaf daughter looked up with shining eyes and opened her mouth. The word that came out stopped every heart in the room. Mommy. But the woman she was looking at wasn't her mother. If that single moment just broke something inside you, keep watching until the very end, because what happens next will leave you crying happy tears. And if this story touches you even a little, please hit that like button and subscribe with notifications on. I promise every new video will fight for your heart the same way. Elena had been the Vargas family's live-in nanny for 6 years, 3 months, and 11 days. She knew because she had counted every sunrise from the tiny attic room above the garage of the glass and marble mansion on the hill. 6 years of tying perfect bows in Isabella's dark curls, 6 years of teaching her to read lips so fast that strangers never guessed she couldn't hear, 6 years of signing bedtime stories under fairy lights while Mr. and Mrs. Vargas worked late, flew private, attended galas, and slowly, quietly, drifted out of their daughter's daily life. Isabella was 5 when Elena arrived, terrified of thunderstorms because she couldn't hear them coming. She was 11 now, graceful and quick, with a laugh that lit the whole mansion even though she had never heard it herself. Elena had been there for every surgery, every speech therapy session, every Christmas morning when Isabella signed "thank you" to the mountain of presents she didn't ask for and then ran straight to Elena for the one gift that mattered, time. The contract was always clear. Temporary, Mrs. Vargas had said on the first day, diamond earrings flashing as she signed the papers without looking up. Until we find the perfect long-term solution. That perfect solution never came. Instead, Elena became the solution nobody admitted they needed. Then, in November, Mrs. Vargas announced they had finally found it, a famous residential academy in Switzerland that promised total immersion and miraculous outcomes. Isabella would leave the day after Christmas. A new chapter. A fresh start. Elena's job would end on Christmas Eve. Isabella didn't cry when they told her. She only signed, slow and careful, "Will Elena come visit?" Mrs. Vargas smiled the tight smile she used for photographers. "Elena has her own life to get back to, darling." So the countdown began. December crawled by in a blur of packing boxes and fake cheer. Elena taught Isabella how to say, "I love you," in 5 new sign languages, just in case the Swiss teachers didn't know American Sign Language. She recorded videos of herself reading Isabella's favorite books so the girl could watch them when she felt alone. She baked cinnamon cookies and let Isabella lick the spoon even though sugar before bed was against the rules that suddenly didn't matter anymore. And every night, when the mansion was asleep, Elena sat on the edge of her narrow attic bed and cried without sound, the way Isabella had taught her years ago, shoulders shaking, face buried in a pillow so no one would ever know. Christmas Eve arrived wrapped in snow. The Vargas family hosted their annual party, politicians, influencers, a string quartet, champagne towers, cameras flashing on the grand staircase. Elena wore the same black dress she always wore to these events, the one that made her invisible among the sequins. Her job tonight was simple: keep Isabella happy and out of the way until the nanny could slip out forever. Isabella, in red velvet and sparkly shoes, had other plans. She tugged Elena through the crowd, past women dripping diamonds and men checking stock prices on their phones, until they reached the towering Christmas tree in the marble foyer. The tree was professionally decorated, no childish ornaments, no popsicle stick stars, just gold and crystal and cold perfection. Isabella pressed a small, badly wrapped gift into Elena's hands. "Open," she signed, bouncing on her toes. Inside was a clay necklace, lopsided and painted in wild colors. On the pendant, in shaky letters, Isabella had scratched one word, "Mommy." Elena's knees almost gave out. She knelt, eye level with the girl who had been her whole world for 6 years. "Sweetheart, I'm not." Isabella's hands flew. "You are. You always were." They just never noticed. Behind them, the party noise faded like someone turned down the volume on the entire world. Mrs. Vargas appeared, flawless in silver silk. "Isabella, come along. The photographer needs family pictures." Isabella didn't move. She stared at her mother, then at Elena, then back again. Something fierce rose in her small face. She took one step forward, placed her hand on Elena's cheek, and opened her mouth. The cochlear implants she had worn since age 7 had never given her clear speech. Words were hard, distorted, a battle she rarely fought in front of anyone except Elena during therapy sessions that ended in hugs and frustration. But tonight, in front of 200 strangers, Isabella looked straight at Elena and forced the sound out, raw and trembling and perfect. "Mommy." The room froze. A glass slipped from someone's hand and shattered. Phones lifted. The string quartet missed a note. Elena couldn't breathe. Mrs. Vargas went white beneath her makeup. "Isabella, I'm right here. I'm your mother." Isabella turned. For the first time in years, she spoke again. Louder, clearer, as if the word had been living inside her all this time waiting for permission. "No. You're Claudia." She signed and spoke at the same time, the way Elena had taught her when emotions were too big for hands alone. "You gave birth to me. Elena raised me. She learned my language. She stayed. She's mommy." Mr. Vargas pushed through the crowd, face red. "This is ridiculous. Elena is staff." Elena stood slowly, tears falling without shame. "I was never just staff, sir. I was the emergency contact, the one who slept on the hospital chair after every surgery, the one who learned sign language before I learned where the grocery store was. I was the one she ran to when she was scared of the dark. You paid me to take care of her. I did it for free the moment I fell in love with her." The cameras rolled. The whispers exploded. Isabella grabbed Elena's hand and pulled her toward the door. "Where are you going?" "Mrs. Vargas called, voice cracking for the first time in public. Isabella stopped under the mistletoe. She looked back, eyes blazing with an 11-year-old's righteous fury. "I'm going with mommy. The real one. Merry Christmas." She tugged Elena outside into the snow. They didn't have coats. They didn't have a plan. They just had each other and the lopsided clay necklace swinging between them. Behind them, the mansion doors slammed open. Mr. Vargas stormed out, shouting about contracts and police and scandal. But then something happened no one expected. Guests started following. First one, then a dozen. Phones up, live streaming. Someone yelled, "Let the kid choose." Another voice, recognizable, a famous actress, shouted, "I've seen this family ignore that little girl for years." The tide turned in seconds. Hashtags were born before Elena's boots hit the driveway snow. Hashtag Let Isabella Choose trended worldwide in 20 minutes. Inside an hour, news helicopters circled. Reporters camped at the gates. The Vargas empire, built on image, began to crack under the weight of one word spoken by a deaf child on Christmas Eve. Elena and Isabella made it as far as the gardener's cottage before the police arrived, not to arrest anyone, but to keep the crowd back. Someone brought blankets. Someone else brought cocoa. A local news anchor knelt in the snow and asked Isabella, through an interpreter, what she wanted. Isabella didn't need the interpreter. She looked straight into the camera and signed, then spoke with the same fierce clarity. "I want to go home with my mommy. The one who never left." By midnight, the lawyers were already negotiating. By dawn on Christmas morning, the papers were signed. Custody transferred, not through years of bitter court battles, but in one night, because the world had watched a little girl choose love over money and refused to look away. The mansion on the hill went up for sale in January. The Vargas family disappeared into damage control exile. Elena and Isabella moved into a small blue house with a porch swing and a kitchen that smelled like cinnamon all year round. Isabella kept her implants but learned she didn't need perfect speech to be heard. Elena went back to school at night to become a teacher for deaf children, funded by a GoFundMe that raised $3 million in the first week because strangers believed in second chances. Every Christmas Eve after that, they hung the lopsided clay necklace on the very top of their scraggly, imperfect, love-covered tree. And every year, Isabella, taller now, voice smoother from practice, would touch the necklace and whisper the word that changed everything. Mommy. If you're crying right now, you're not alone. This is the true power of love. It doesn't need perfect hearing, perfect words, or perfect bank accounts. It only needs someone willing to stay. If this story moved you, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to remember that family is what you choose, not just what you're born into, and subscribe for more real-life stories that prove love always, always wins. Merry Christmas, beautiful people. See you in the next one.